Welcome to another beautiful episode of Culture Cove right here on Hued Network. My name is Blessing Dagin, as you know, and today we have a packed show for you. But before we unpack all we have, let's first of all meet all of the people we have in the studio. Well, first of all, to my far left, I have Omokafe.
Hello, hi Blessing.
Hi, Kafi. How you doing?
I'm good.
I've seen you today, but how you doing still?
I'm fine. How are you too? Beautiful blouse, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Beautiful you, by the way. All right. We also have Sharon in the building. Hi, Sharon.
Hi, Blessing.
How you doing?
Hi, Omokafe. I'm super fine. I was about commenting on your top. But
Oh, please.
It's been commented on, so I reserved.
Thank you so very much. And now to the guest you've been waiting for. We have a very special guest in our midst. We have Gabriel Onyebuolise. He's the head of strategy and innovation, Chanja Dati Limited. It's such a pleasure to have him here. Thank you so much for joining us,
Thank you
Gabriel.
very much,
Gabriel.
Blessing. Thank you, Omokafe. Thank you, Sharon. It's great to be here again.
But then
Yeah.
welcome to Culture Cove for the first time.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, let's get the show started.
Yeah.
So we were at an event. We partnered with Chanja Dati Limited for the African SDGs Film Festival. And we have a very beautiful report packed for you just to take you through the journey and how the events went. Let's take a look at this report and we come back. The show continues. The capital city of Nigeria, Abuja, came alive with stories as the first ever African SDGs Film Festival opened under the theme, Inspiring Sustainability Through the Lens. For 2 days, films, culture, and conversations showed how creativity can push Africa closer to the Sustainable Development Goals.
The Sustainable Development Goals give us a shared roadmap for a more just and inclusive and sustainable world. But time is not on our side. 2030 is around the corner, and we cannot afford to be passive. The festival is our way of saying the time to act is now.
The festival opened with a welcome by Seyi Boroface, brother to the convener Olufunto Boroface, followed by an address from Belgian Ambassador Peter Lingnet. In an interview with Hued Network, the ambassador stressed the importance of global collaboration in building a sustainable future.
Well, yes, we have had already a number of collaborations when it comes to film. For instance, there was a Human Rights Film Festival end of 2023, shortly after my arrival in this country, a festival around SDGs, something that is also very close to my heart as one of the pen holders of the first Belgian report on SDG implementation to the UN. So we're happy to see it happen, and we're happy to see especially Chanja Dati, with whom we already partner at the level of our embassy.
Burst of colors followed as traditional dancers set the mood before the first screenings. The screening captured short films on climate change, gender, and resilience.
We made sure that we told that story in 2 minutes, and we had to highlight some of the struggles and some of the faces that people, especially women, face.
Day 2 opened with workshops. Annabelle Anyagbade led a session on impact storytelling for filmmaking, showing how stories can move people to act. In another, Jeremiah Samuel of the Wellbeing Foundation Africa spoke on from policy to practice, implementing SDGs at the grassroots, linking film and creativity with real community needs. The energy shifted to young voices at the Voices of Tomorrow Youth Forum, where participants made it clear they want a seat at the table for Africa's future.
Live for something bigger than yourself. I've been a filmmaker for over 2 decades, and I can tell you that film has not given me money. When I say film has not given me money, film has not given me the kind of resource you say, yeah, I really have money. But truth is, working for change is what really has. And I didn't go into it because I was chasing the money. I didn't need, it wasn't the travels, it wasn't the stuff. I realized that the universe converge when you work for something bigger than you.
Also speaking to Hude Network, Olamide Fagbeyi, Senior Special Advisor to the President on Climate Change.
SDG 7 and the medium of film, as we have seen today, is a very powerful tool for engagement and climate advocacy. Bringing the awareness to people in Nigeria and also showing where we have come and what the challenges are, how we can innovate our way out of energy poverty in Nigeria is very important. And this is one of the most practical ways to do it. Climate change tends to be a bit abstract, especially from the policy side of things. But this sort of steps it down a little bit and makes it more relatable.
Reflecting on the event, Gabriel Onyebuolise highlighted how the festival is shaping conversations around sustainability and Africa's future.
From the conversation, we could tell that the hope we have is people, you and I, and we need people to take action. So at the end of this, next year, when we're having this festival, we want to see more people producing more films. We want to see people also showcasing what they've done, right? Trying to fix the challenges rather than wait on the government.
The festival ended with a gala night, celebrating 10 years of Chanjadati Limited's impact and honoring films that carried powerful messages of change. From screenings to youth voices, from workshops to the award stage, the African SDGs Film Festival showed that sustainability can be inspired through stories, through people, and through the lens.
Yes, inspiring sustainability through the lens. That was the theme for the African SDGs Film Festival. So let's go straight into it. Gabriel, what does that mean to you, inspiring sustainability through the lens? And why are films, why are stories so important in shaping Africa's sustainable future?
That's a lot in one question.
Oh.
Right. But I believe storytelling, telling the story from a place of power, how you're communicating it, right? The media, the one who controls the story, really has more power. And that's the reason I think it's important that Africans begin to tell their own story. Because you own your story, you understand your story, you've experienced it, and only you can actually tell it the way it happened. Beyond statistics, beyond the numbers, right? Because we just say 10 million children out of school, but then this gives us numbers, no emotions connected to it. But when we tell the story of one child who is out of school and the experience that child is having, the experience within his family, what the family is going through, the challenges, how the family is even resilient, what they are trying to do to bring about solutions, or making efforts to bring solutions to their kids or send their children to school, what are they doing? So these stories bring the relatability its entirety, even with all the, many things fading out, AI, technology, storytelling will never phase out. It's something that it's powerful, and powerful people and developed countries are leveraging it. And I think Africa should.
Okay. Thank you so very much. So we were all there, we were live at the festival. So let me briefly ask Omokafe and Sharon, in one sentence, what would you describe your experience to be?
It was what's the word now? Should I say it was sustainable? Yes.
Wow.
I would have said inclusion, but it was sustainable, because just like he had been able to describe, stories are things that every single person is able to relate to. If you cannot relate to this first story, you should be able to relate to the second, because you'll be surprised how much your childhood is very similar to the person in Nepal. You're in Nigeria and your child is similar to that person, and you're able to know that through the power of storytelling. You're able to watch their documentaries, their films, and that was exactly how it was too in this place.
Thank you so much, Omokafe. Sharon?
Well, I would say it was impactful. When you were talking, you said beyond the numbers, we need to be able to envision and, had emotions to it. There was one of the movie that played where it talked about climate change. And so I said, yes, I know about climate change. I know the numbers, the figures of climate change, but there was something that stirred up in me. There was this annoyance, this, oh my goodness, this is really what climate change is doing. In as much as it was I think it was a documentary, not even a short film, it really stirred up something in me. And I can tell you that not just only me, but lots of persons there, and it impacted us. It now brought us to the consciousness of, oh my goodness, this is what is really happening. And of course, when something like that is registered in your mind, you try your best not to contribute to whatever would, whatever will cause that scenario, that climate change, impact
Disaster.
and all of that disaster. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Sharon. Now, moving on from the African SDGs Film Festival 2025. It has been done, the impacts have been felt and all of that. But then how do we translate this to real-life impact? How do we do this? The films have been shown, emotions have been stirred. What's the way forward?
Before we started all of this, we thought around beyond the festival itself, right? Because we know it's one thing to stir up conversation, start up conversation. It's another thing to try to maintain it and see the end of its impact, or people having to take action. It's another aspect of it. We actually were able to gauge that the festival was quite impactful because of the feedback we got from social media. We took time to read the captions to understand how people felt, what they learned, and the feedback have been positive. So we know that the impact was good. It had the intended impact and as planned. So now on post-engagement, we're looking at having conversations with partners and bringing more people in to this. That's what we're looking at, because this was the inaugural edition, the very first, and we recorded this level of success. So we're trying to advance, speaking with more partners, speaking with more people to bring them on board. And beyond this, in post-engagement, we're also having conversations with people, organizations that have the capacity, right? That have the capacity and facility to bring about, say, capacity building for filmmakers, for instance. So we can have a kind of workshop session, practical workshop sessions for filmmakers, trying to enlighten and teach them about impact storytelling, so that it's more specific. So these are conversations we're having and plans we want to do for filmmakers specifically. Then for participants generally in the impact sector, talking about the SDGs, conversations around the SDGs, we would see around creating more content on social media, right, that would keep everyone engaged even before the next film festival. So people get to hear more from us, get to see more information, what's happening, what's going on. It's like a reminder to how they felt and the need for them to take action. Things like this, on the long term, is a behavioral change strategy, and behavioral change strategies take time. We need as much patience as possible, right? We're looking at a 5-year timeline to see how that impact would be, but it's something we're willing to take it gradually, step by step, through conversation, through workshops, more of these stories, putting out, words from time to time, and see, how it goes from there.
Well, that sounds and looks like a very smart plan, being that it's timely as well. All right, so the fact that it was an African SDGs Film Festival leads me to this question I'm about to ask. Now, there's African in it. It's not just SDGs Film Festival. And we're Africans. It's us. It's who we are. So is there a reason why it was particularly for Africans? Because we must acknowledge the fact that as Africans, we're a third world, growing continent.
That's what they say.
Wow. Yeah, but then it's important for us to also preserve our way of life, our culture.
Yeah.
So I'm asking, is there a particular reason why it was African SDGs Film Festival?
Yeah, okay. I think one of the obvious reasons we're Africans, right? So it's important that we are proud of our heritage, proud of being Africans, right? Because I think, I don't know about people, but personally growing up, the Western media influenced a lot of my ideologies, right? And I think I had a lot of bias and some level, some form of hatred for African culture, or things, just because of how the media painted it, growing up. So these were things I had to unlearn, right? To have to begin to understand African heritage, African practices, African culture, right? Why we act the way we do, why we are, the way we are in quotes, and being very confident and proud of what's going on in Africa. In part of most of the conversations globally, right? Conversations about Africa comes maybe at the bottom or last because of the notion that Africa is underdeveloped, which is still subjective. It's something that we can argue anytime, any day. Yeah, about them saying Africa is underdeveloped. Development is quite very subjective. For me, I believe Africa is the only continent, right, that has the capacity to prove to the world that sustainability is possible. No other continent has that validity or has that right anymore because of the level of pollution that they've caused. From statistics, all of Africa contributes 4%. All of Africa. Africa is 54, up to 54 countries.
Wow.
And all of Africa is contributing
just
4%. That's 54 countries. Wow. Contributing 4% to global warming, emissions and the likes of that. And we have some countries contributing up to 15%. Wow. One country. You understand? So you see that Africa still has that potential in both natural resources, in both its people. By 2050, we would have the largest youth population, right, in the world. And that's a lot about the workforce. I think if you go out there, outside Africa, everyone is having a plan for Africa. Everyone, like every other country, has a plan for Africa. Does Africa have a plan for, for himself or herself, right? So this led us to say Africa is priority. It's important that Africans tell their story. It's important that we drive it to the point that Africans must be proud of what we are building, because really we're trying our best to build sustainably, right? And it's possible if we can take, most of the lessons from the developed world and not go the path which they took, right? We can actually be the continent that shows them the right thing to do. That's how I believe Africa should position herself, right? From a place of authority, from a place of, we can do this, we know this, we haven't made this mistake yet, and we can do the right thing and show you how it is done, right? Beyond all of the plans that, the world have for Africa, we can actually plan for Africa. We can actually come up with really amazing, innovative ideas and initiatives that would shape Africa for good. Why not losing our heritage?
Preserving it.
Our essence. So it's really important. So
yes, because most of the documentaries that were screened during the festival came in the African, accents. In fact, there was one that was with an African language, so I think it's quite a big one. Thank you so much. But before we move away from this particular conversation, finally, what should we expect from the African SDGs Film Festival? This is done. What should we expect?
Oh, okay. From the Africa, like I mentioned earlier, we're looking at engagements, workshops, especially how we are going to increase capacity for filmmakers and also engage filmmakers, right? We're looking at how do we keep even the audience engaged. So these activities that we are looking at going forward, workshops, webinars, and maybe small meetups, if that can be possible. And we're looking at possibility of expansions, right? With getting more partners on board to amplify this. It's something that you can't do alone, really. So we want more people on board to spread the word, spread the impact as well as fast as possible. So these are the things we are looking out for. And for filmmakers, all of these partnerships we're trying to get is to see how can we empower more filmmakers, right, to tell more impactful stories, about Africa.
All right, thank you so very much for this conversation.
Thank you.
All right, now we go on a very short break. When we come back, we will turn to Omokafe to give us details of what's happening within the creative industry. Please stay with us.
Keep watching. Please keep watching Culture Cove on Hued Network.
For 2 seasons, Timeline has taken you on a journey of exploring real-life issues and solutions. Well, we are on to season 3 of Timeline, a space where we talk about real issues shaping our world. Here, we sit down with voices that matter, with people who are driving change and making impact. We are talking about more than just problems. We're talking about the attainment of our collective commitment, the global goals, the SDGs, and of course, our community-specific targets. Our conversations aren't just about highlighting problems. They're about finding solutions that truly works, solutions that touches lives and impact the globe. An appraisal of how close we are in meeting our global and community targets. We create rooms for honest, thought-provoking conversations, a ride that you wouldn't want to miss. Well, this is Timeline, where conversations lead to solutions that change lives.
Everybody has a stake in making the world a better place with love and compassion. As we thrive daily, we continue to strive to face the many challenges that faces our Earth, because together we all matter. On one side, we are exploring the captivating stories, the trends, the glamour, while on the other hand, we're looking at the love, the care and compassion from our champions. In our Stars Quiet Cove lies the burning passion for humanity, which is seldom known and unsung to the world. Join me on Famed to look at the flip side of your favorite beyond the regular.
Keep watching. Please keep watching Culture Cove on Hued Network.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. This is still Culture Cove right here on Hued Network. Now we'll turn to Omokafe to give us details. Hi, Kafi, what do you have for us?
Hello, well, away from Africa, we're going to India today, guys.
Okay.
And it's very something's very, very similar to just what we have been talking about, sustainability. Now, there's something called the Lollapalooza Festival, music festival to be specific, in India. And this year was the 3rd edition. It happened. And their main focus was arts, food and sustainability. As much as they had a lot of Indian musicians and also people outside of India come to perform their music, whether it was classical, it was Hindi, or any other kind of music that they loved, they also looked forward to seeing other people who were also Indians, ensuring that they are sustainable or ensuring that their experience was quite sustainable. And they did that by including people who were deaf, were dumb, or people who could use wheelchair or could not, people who, disabled persons per se, they were able to, assess the environment, and also they made them feel very comfortable in the place. This is a picture of some of the musicians who were present there. This is someone playing an instrument and everything. It was colorful, it was beautiful. And then one very important thing that they did in that festival was they ensured that things were sustainable. And in festivals, you know that there's an array of food. Now, how did they do with that food? They ensured that people who ate and remained, it was enough to, to supply to other supporting communities around that place in Mumbai specifically that they did it. So they were able to gather, the food. In the Bible, they'll say, I think there was a parable where Jesus, had fed 5,000 people and then the remaining basket, 12 baskets. So they had actually taken that. I'm not saying that they took that exactly from the Bible, but that's something very similar to what they had done. So they packed the remaining and, of course, spread to other communities that were there just to ensure that people were sustainable were sustained with what they had. Also, they had something called the drive-in food court, where all of the food that was served there were non-plastic, which was also to be able to contribute to the community, contribute to ensuring that we all have a green economy, a green society, a green environment, and every other thing. So it was specifically for young people to be able to display their arts, display their songs, display their food, how creative they can be, and of course display their music, and of course enjoy good music around the entire place. So maybe African SDG next year might include some music too.
Well, thank you so much, Kafi. Gabriel, what do you think about the Lollapalooza Festival?
Lollapalooza.
Interesting. I think seeing the images, I love how vibrant and energetic it looks. I think while you were speaking, I was thinking, what can we learn from this? What can we add come next year, right? Yeah. So I think there are lessons to learn definitely from this. It looks quite vibrant and I love it.
Sharon?
Well, I'll go with your word. It actually looks vibrant. She talked about colors. I was trying to see the pop of colors, but I want to believe you didn't get all the image. I believe it was also a colorful event. And, well, you said there was an array of colors. Oh, okay. I can see blue. And, you said there was an array of food. Let me not talk like a foodie, but that is actually so nice. This was done in India, right?
Yeah, sure. Mumbai.
Amazing. And I believe not all the attendees were Indians, so they got to participate.
There was an array of musicians from outside of India. People like Aurora was also present there.
Nice.
Quite nice.
Well, I picked one thing basically from this, the fact that the servings were in non-plastic.
Yes.
I think when we talk about sustainability and trying to get a green environment, protecting our planet, I think that's a way forward, because plastics, I think, are number one when it comes to pollution and all. So I think it was quite an amazing one. Thank you so much,
colors
Omokafe. Actually, the colors are popping. Okay, now we'll go on a very short break. When we return, we'll turn to Sharon to give us details or highlight a very special festival. Please stay with us.
Keep watching. Please keep watching Culture Cove on Hued Network.
This is the show where stories of women's achievement meet the solutions our world needs today. In a world where challenges abound, women rise above, turning obstacles to opportunities and dreams into lasting impact. They are leaders, they are innovators, they are change makers. From classrooms to boardrooms, from communities to global stages, these women are breaking barriers and shaping our world. Empower is not just a conversation. It's a celebration of courage, resilience, and vision. Join me as I spotlight women who transform society. This is Empower with an H on Youth Network.
Keep watching. Please keep watching Culture Cove on Hued Network.
All right, glad to know you're still there. And now it's time for Sharon to highlight a very interesting festival for us. Sharon?
All right, thank you, Blessing. Now you would all know why I was so keen about colors.
Okay.
Well, I'll be telling you, or I'll be sharing with you the festival celebrated in India called the Holi Festival. It's also known as the Festival of Colors.
Okay.
Where it's celebrated it's an Hindu festival celebrated in India and around the world. Just look at this picture. It's so beautiful. People get to, throw powdered colors, watercolors on each other just for, for bonding, for love, and to celebrate evil against good against evil, I beg your pardon.
Okay.
And it's a different celebration, I would say. Firstly, there's a celebration for evil, good against evil. There's a celebration for love, and then there's a celebration for welcoming of spring. Now, for other communities, it's a different celebration. You don't get to see two celebrations in one. For the only same thing in the celebration is the pop of colors, the throwing of watercolors, and all of that. But there are two separate celebrations, and I will tell you the reason behind both of them. Okay. First, we have the good triumphing over evil, and it has a story to it. It's quite an interesting story. So I'll tell you guys to put on your vision cap on because you will need it. Well, let's start. Let's go in. Now, for some parts, the good triumphing over evil stems up from a demon. It's Indian mythology, so you have to just flow with me. It stems up from an evil demon wanting to kill his son. Then he enlisted the help of his sister to help kill his son. And then, in India, they usually would not bury their dead. There is something they call pyre. Now, that pyre is something you set up and put the corpse on, and then it gets burned, and then you take the ashes and dispose it wherever. So they set up the pyre. In the process, they set up a pyre to kill the son, and the sister of the said demon, sat with the son on that pyre, ready to, get him consumed and all of that. But she had something called the clock, where she used it as a protection on herself. Please, you have to understand, this is Indian mythology. So she had a clock on herself where she wanted to use it to protect herself, not to get burnt with the sun. Both communities do not celebrate the same thing. There are others that celebrate good over evil. There are others that celebrate love. Others that celebrate, the welcoming of spring. It's a celebration where there is bonding, social bonding, where you get to forgive, whatever grievance you've taken all through to. It's celebrated in March 13th and 14th. Whatever grievance you've taken through the year, you get to, just bring it out. You get to forgive each other. You get to bond. You get to laugh, and basically all of that. And that's why I said you should put your vision cap on, because that is basically what the Holi Festival is all about.
Okay. I forgive you.
I forgive you too, Sharon.
All right, Gabriel, what do you think? Pop of colors.
Yeah, pop of colors. I think bringing people together, it's something very amazing, right? Something very epic, because I usually do question before now, why do we have to stress on conference? Why do we have to stress, bringing pack of people together and the likes of that, until I began to see how impactful it can be, that people come together to have conversations, bond over something, like this. When you hear stories like this, they seem like they're insignificant, but yet so very powerful and significant, right? Because people want to identify with something. Even from birth, from beginning, people want an identity, right? So presenting people with options or what they can tie values to is very important. So if it's valuable to them, they're going to really get connected, and they're going to find people that they can get connected with in that process, and then, spring up something really very impactful. So it's really nice. It's a great way to unwind, relax, connect, have conversations, and, just be human.
And color yourself.
Yeah, I think it's really good for social bonding. You just have something to distract you. Omokafe, you seem to have a lot to want to say about this.
What I actually have is to build on the significance that Gabriel here had mentioned, is the fact that at the end of the festival, you're expected to forgive. You're expected to let go of every hurtful words or hurtful actions that people had done to you. And to me, that's exactly how the world should go. There is no how that people would not offend you or say things that you do not mean or even mean, but then you should not carry it around. And I like the essence of the festival, that it allows you or gives you the platform to, go to people, or maybe not even going to them, but while you're there, people are spraying colors on you, you're able to let go of hurt, of pain and everything.
Thank you so much, Sharon. Thank you, everyone, for a very great insight to this. Now we go to the last item we have for our show today. And I'll implore you, keep your eyes glued to the screen. Okay, so would you please do us the honors of reading this?
River wey sabi wait, na him go carry plenty fish.
Okay, so what do you think this means?
What it means? River. I'm trying to actually think about
exactly
what it means, because rivers, do they wait? They flow. Right?
Okay.
So how would the river wait and carry plenty fish? I'm trying to decipher
Wrap
what
your head around it.
Because below it says wise saying. So this is supposed to be wisdom. But then I'm trying to get the wisdom from it. It's difficult.
Okay,
so Jesus, please do not pass it to me. Please kindly pass it to Sharon.
The rivers wait. That's the question.
No, we would have answered this thing, but you've now made us have a rethink now that rivers doesn't wait. So how are we going to answer it? No. Because the battle is now, do rivers wait?
The rivers really wait.
River wey sabi wait. But I think in a way I kind of get the entire picture of it. It's patience.
Yeah.
When you're able to wait for something, you get to have, the biggest bones, the biggest meats, the biggest ideas, or the biggest connections for everything. So while we're still trying to find out if rivers are waiting or flowing, we should get the message that patience is key in life. We should be calm, we should be patient, and we should just know how to, while we're waiting, we should know how to grow in that space and, of course, have capacity to carry plenty fish.
Omokafe has set the ball rolling, so let me come back. Sharon?
Okay. In another view, river waits. I want to believe river doesn't wait. So any river waiting is going to carry a lot of plenty fish, and those fish are not alive. It's going to carry plenty dead fish. So what is the meaning to that? Take it back to Gabriel. We should pick from what I say and give you the meaning. Now we're done with the dispute. River waits, river no wait. Let's have an answer to that.
All right, Gabriel.
I'm waiting for you.
I think, it boils down to patience, right? River wey sabi wait, na him go carry plenty fish. So it boils down to patience, waiting, right? Being patient enough to get it. But in my thought, right, I'm beginning to feel like, is this supposed to be river or the fisherman.
Okay, fine.
It's
Let me give you a very fresh perspective to this.
Yeah. Okay.
River wey sabi wait, na im go carry plenty fish. Now, think about the fact that, okay, we know that rivers flow.
Yeah.
Rivers naturally flow. Same way, human beings are naturally on the go, on the move, right? Now, the watchword here is we sabi. So you get the point. River wey sabi wait. So it may not be in your nature.
But you need to learn.
Exactly. So that's the wisdom in this. It must not be in your nature to tarry. It may not be in your nature to wait. But the moment you're able to pause for a second, you know, you're able to get the goodies packed in every life situation for you. Yeah, so actually, that's the wisdom in it.
Makes sense.
So I was right.
Well, yeah, somehow,
You
somewhere.
only ice cream.
But I think we all...
Yes, we all did.
Put it together because trying to decipher river wey sabi me, but now it makes sense. You need to, learn in all the chaos.
Exactly.
Learn to be still.
You need to learn it because your natural self, some things don't come with your default setting as a human being. So you have to learn to learn. You have to learn to keep learning as the days go by.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, thank you so much. I think we've had quite an amazing show.
Yeah.
All right, so this is where we'll put a full stop to today's edition. Thank you so much, Gabriel, for joining us. We look forward to the African SDGs Film Festival come 2026, 2027, and moving forward. Yeah. Thank you, Omokafe. Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you.
Well, this is where we draw the curtains on today's edition of Culture Cove. Ensure to learn to tarry, ensure to learn to wait in every situation life throws at you. My name is Blessing Dagin. Join us again for another wonderful edition.